All right, well, good evening, everyone. First off, I'm going to say thank you to Pastor Clark for that wonderful invocation. I enjoyed the nice little shout out. Just a quick update, Maple Avenue Phase 2, the punch list is almost substantially complete. I would say it's about 95% complete with going through the final items that our contractor needed to complete so that we can move closer towards closing out the project. Within the next 2 weeks, we do anticipate planting the trees. Mr. Dressler is working with a nursery on getting some trees and their bulbs ready so that they will do okay come season change. And the reason that we're going to go ahead and start the planting now is we have a timeline with VDOT to have to get the project closed out by December 31st. It's no secret that this project has fallen behind schedule for a variety of reasons, but it is currently 175 days past schedule. So we're working to wrap that up. Maple Avenue Phase 3, pleased to announce that we have officially worked to now use the services of Hurt and Profit to take on that final phase and focus on some value engineering approaches. As you all know, the project came in a little over $1 million, and the budget that is allocated to that by VDOT and what the city previously agreed to was about $870,000. So lots of things to cut out. And we've already started some outreach to the businesses in that phase of the project. Actually, the mayor and Mr. Vice Mayor went with me to one of those meetings. It was wonderful. Also, just an update on our city GIS services. We had a very productive meeting this morning with our Commissioner of Revenue, our Director of Public Safety, Chief Smith, Mr. Dressler, our Deputy Director of Public Works, Mr. Howard, and a representative from the Treasurer's Office. Forgive me, I'll butcher the name. So regarding what we need to see in GIS, what we want to see, and transitioning those services over to Hurt and Profit as well. That is a firm that has worked with both the city and county recently on our next gen 911 efforts and a lot of the data cleanup that was needed in GIS for that. So this is a firm that's kind of familiar to how we're capturing things and how we're doing some of that stuff. Last update that I really want to give you from an operational standpoint is our upcoming paving schedule for fiscal year 22. That will be worked on by our Deputy Director of Public Works and our new Director of Public Works going through that previous list that we had. We will continue the same approach that we had last year, focusing on mill and overlay as well as slurry seal to get the most bang for our buck, and also tie in some local collectors and not just our main thoroughfares. And the only other thing I would like to emphasize and just be on the lookout, with the American Relief Plan and the funds affiliated with that, we will be required to hold a public hearing. We are waiting official federal guidance as to when our reporting period is, because we have to have one prior to. As you all know, I previously discussed wanting to wait and see where the General Assembly special session kind of shook everything out and decided to allocate their I think it was about $4 billion into what kinds of program buckets. So we may end up having a meeting before the end of August, or it may end up being sometime before the end of October, just to kind of discuss the buckets as far as the categories that the Department of Treasury is allowing you to tentatively earmark use of those funds, because you have to report that. And we are under federal reporting requirements with these funds. It's very different than the CARES funds. So beyond that, any questions?
I've got one.
Yes, sir.
This is on something else, but
okay.
I want to tell you that I've talked to a lot of individuals in the Hillcrest area.
Yes, sir.
They're very pleased with the creek work. One of the ladies said she's written a letter to the paper.
Oh.
And it hadn't come out yet, but she is real interested in thanking the city, says that we did good. And I just wanted to let you know, because that was one of your projects you did good.
Thank you. We try to do a good job here. On another note, the property that we had previously discussed, 411 North Allegheny, the city attorney and I have been doing some digging, and you all received a copy of a letter that went to the resident, and we are feverishly trying to work towards at least a solution for securing that derelict property and trying to contact owners and others affiliated with that property regarding the issues. So you all have a copy of that letter, just mentioning that. Trying to ramp up our property maintenance and code enforcement as best we can. Anything else?
Well, after that compliment, I want to bust your bubble.
Okay.
Over here in the little alleyway where the
Uh-huh.
concrete's not finished, that's supposed to be done Thursday?
That is on the punch list. That has to get fixed by Chantel, and part of it is Dominion. That was through the utility piece of it. That will get buttoned up before we do the CO of the project, the closeout.
That little space in there, looking back in toward the back of the building, there's a pretty good pile of dirt there where they took out of that hole where they put concrete. And it's still there. That needs to be cleaned up. It's on their property, not our property.
Okay.
And then there was a fence there. It was a gate that ran across that area to hide it from view. They took that down when they set that pole. Where all the power comes in together at that one spot. That gate was taken down when they set that pole. And I would think somebody should put that gate fence back up there.
We will check on that. The reason that it may not have been restored is with utility right-of-way and their need for access to that for the pole where it was put, but we will check on that.
That's a neat little area there that could be turned into a little pocket park with private property.
Oh, look at you using your Main Street study words.
You have to say that. Bump outs, I saw some bump outs on there. Yeah, you're teaching as well. But we could make a pocket park in there if we could work with the landowner. I don't think it would be too much trouble, but.
Yeah, it's right next to the Discovery Center, correct?
And that little alleyway that's concrete, we could probably do some neat little things in there to give us a little more vision of it. What you call that thing?
Pocket park.
Pocket park.
Yeah, after we do this shade structure, we'll do the pocket park.
It's almost a pocket park over here in the controversial one. But going down that walkway too could be dressed up some with some murals on the walls or some overhead.
I would love to see some public art displays. Big proponent of that. So
We could talk about that.
maybe we should do a contest and ask folks to submit some potential considerations of their public art and let them do it if the city's willing to buy the paint and they follow, what we choose as a design. Do a little contest.
Maybe we'll talk more about the pocket park.
Absolutely. Anything else, Mr. Hunter? You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I live on Pine Street. Between Pine Street and Oak Street. Got the colors in there, big enough small car.
So it's the alley on Pine. There's some potholes.
No, it's the Pine, between Pine Street and Oak Street.
And Fudge.
Pine Street, sure.
Yeah.
So the alleyway behind that. Be great if we had a motor grader.
They have done it before.
Used to have it.
Yeah.
We did.
It's just every time it rains, it washes it out.
Okay. I'll relay that to Public Works.
Some milling down through there.
We'll look at grading it.
To a racetrack.
Okay.
Put some speed bumps in there.
We'll look at grading it, or I will refer it to our Deputy Director for Public Works and get him to give his opinion. All right, thank you all.
Thank you. To consider resolution 2133 concerning the proposed memorandum of understanding between localities and state of Virginia on the allocation of opioid settlement funds.
Move for approval. Second.
Today we made a motion to approve. Got a second?
Second.
This is just the first round of money coming from one particular program. Is that right, Mark?